Hello viewers, welcome to our TV program on NTR TV, Unknown History. Unknown History, we made some programs about some historical events, what happened in the past, especially the most important things we emphasized, such as conquest of Istanbul and its results to European and the world history. As you know, Sultan's teacher Akşemseddin had sent all the books to Vatican, and those books had been read by Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, and these books opened a new era, a new view for European history. Anyway, today we are going to open a new gate, a new window to world history from Scandinavia. We've been there last time and we visited Scandinavian countries such as Finland, Stockholm, and also Norway, Denmark. These four countries are Scandinavian countries. Three of them are speaking very similar languages each other. Danish, Norwegian and Swedish languages are very similar, because when you learn one of these languages, you can understand other two also. Even I was understanding a little bit Norwegian, Swedish and Danish just because of knowing German, Dutch and English languages, because when you speak these three languages, you can start understanding these three Scandinavian languages too. Scandinavia was in my special interest and special investigation. That's why we went to Oslo by car. In fact, we are going to show our videos and our pics in following programs, what we have seen, what we have filmed in these four countries. But today we are going to talk about Scandinavian history. We will talk about Odin and the Vikings. Vikings, they were living in the north part of European continent. Today, Denmark, Norway and Sweden, Iceland, Faroe Islands. These countries are the children of Vikings in the ancient period. Vikings had found a way to travel other countries, to voyage. They traveled till from Scandinavia till, we know they came till Mediterranean area, warm seas. Even they visited Istanbul. Those days Istanbul was named as Constantinopolis by Greeks, by Eastern Romans. It was Nova Roma in Latin language, but Vikings, they were calling Istanbul as Miklagaard. Miklagaard, when we translate into English, means a great city, this great city. In fact, Istanbul has got many names in different languages, but I wanted to emphasize also Viking name of Istanbul is Miklagaard. In fact, it is Tsargrad in Russian language. Mongolian called Istanbul in their language as well, Poland also. Greeks called as Constantinopolis, and the Byzantine Empire also, Eastern Romans, they called Istanbul as Nova Roma, as I told you. Anyway, Vikings, who they were. In fact, Vikings had a king. The many people in the world, they don't know the name of that king. His name is Odin. Before talking about Odin, I have to emphasize about ancestors of Finnish and Estonian people. Finnish and also Estonian people, their ancestors they came from Central Asia to Scandinavia. Today, in Finnish language, there are some Turkish words. Finno-Ugor languages are included in the eastern part of Europe. It's Finnish language, Estonian language, and Hungarian languages. Even in Hungarian language, there are many Turkish words. And today, Hungarians understood that they are Their ancestors are from Central Asia. Estonia and also Finland, someday they will learn that their ancestors migrated from Central Asian steppes. They will know that they are also a Turkic nation. Even today, there is a part in Finland, it's called as Lapland. Lapon, they're speaking a language much more closer to Turkic languages. Even Inuits in the North Pole speaking a language which is very close to Turkic languages, such as Saka Turks as well in Central Asia, neighboring with Alaska. There are many people speaking a language which is very close to Turkic, such as American Indians and Mayas and Aztecs and Apaches. Their languages are very close to Turkic languages. This had been improved by the historians. I hope and I wish someday Finnish and Lapland people, Estonian people, they understand their ancestors are from Central Asia, such as Anatolian Turks or Thracian Turks. And who was Odin? Odin was one of those people who migrated from Central Asia to Scandinavia. Odin was a very kind and nice person. He had got, according to the sources, very limited sources, he had got 12 sons. And Odin and his sons, they ruled Scandinavia a very long time. And Odin created a myth. In fact, this mythology was created by people those days. There were no written sources much. People were flowing the information orally. They're speaking something and somebody was hearing that one, then telling the other one. The history and the mythology was going like this, such as mythology in Greek islands as well. Anyway, Odin today in Norwegian folk tales, his name can be seen. Norwegian folk tales, some of them are starting. There was a man, once upon a time, there was a man. His name was Odin. He was from Turkland. Turkland means Turkestan in Turkish. Turkland is Norwegian in Norwegian languages. Turkland is land of Turks. And that is why many Norwegian and Scandinavian people, they have got a positive view comparing the Southern Europeans. Because when we go to Italy, the Italian children, long time ago, they grown up by the fear of Turks. They were saying, "Mama, mama, il turco." Any child who didn't want to sleep, mother was scaring them, saying that "Mama, mama, mama, il turco," means oh mommy, the Turks are coming or something. And the fear of Turks always were on the Italian children, and they grew up with this fear, really. And not also in Italy, but also Austria and some other countries in the southern part of Europe. They grew up with this mythological things and also fear. And they, especially southern European countries and Britain also, they imported Greek mythology, Zeus and the Greek gods and their tales. They grew up with this Greek side. And today, Turkey and Greece relations are a little bit tough. And when we look at the countries supporting Greece and the countries supporting Turkey, according to these mythologies, and I have an article about Odin and Zeus, the contradiction of Europe, Odin and Zeus. Because Southern Europeans, they were following, as I told you, with Greek mythology, and the Northern Europeans, such as Norway, they don't have got too much negative feeling for Turkey or Muslims. We have seen this also in Norway, really. They are much more open-minded and much more democratic, and Islamophobia is not so high in these countries as they were told, it was told. Anyway, when Odin came to Scandinavia, he created a system in there, and he was a very just and fair person. He governed Scandinavia justly, fairly, and people liked him very much. Scandinavians liked him very much, and according to his speech, they created pagan faith, and they believed after death, if they die in a war as a hero or a heroine, they're going to go to Valhalla and they're going to drink together with Odin in his palace in the heaven. And that is why Vikings fearless. They were fearless fighters, and they were always, they had always willing in their heart to die. And fear of death was nothing, and it was a shame for Vikings long time ago. That is why they were hero, they were fighting, they were brave, and this was coming from Odin and also his teachings. But Norway, Sweden and Denmark, when they have chosen Christianity after 7th and 9th centuries, they try to live a different way of life. They walk different way today. And that is why the people, society's behaviors are according to their faith, really. Even today in Turkey, Turks were from Central Asia. They are fearless people as they were, and when they converted to Islam, Islam has got a fate. If you die for your country, for defending the poor people, for defending the powerless people, if you fight for them, for poverty, if you give your life, this is an honor, really. That is why every Turk in Turkey or in Central Asia or in Azerbaijan, they believe it's an honor to die for the country also. This is in Turkish language şehitlik. And the Turks are fighting exactly like Vikings, and the Vikings were fighting like Turks. And that is why this psychological, socio-psychological situation are coming from this root, really, from Odin in Scandinavia. In fact, Zeus was not a god. In fact, he was the follower of Idris prophet, Idris the prophet. Idris the prophet was following one god believing, and Idris had lived in Mesopotamia, the area. Those days, Greeks were living southeastern part of Turkey and also Mesopotamian part. And Idris defined astrology in the Tawhid way, in fact. Idris and Zeus was following Idris, and Zeus was one God-believing person following Idris. Idris, you can sound it as Greek name, Idris. Also his name was mentioned in Quran. Anyway, when we come back to Odin and Zeus, their real personalities were like this. But people, they changed this, telling the stories each other in many years, because the alphabet had not been found very well, and it was not easy to write. In fact, runic writing. And you can ask a question for yourself, why Vikings were using runic writing, runic alphabet. This alphabet had been used by Turks, had been used by Hungarians, and also used by Vikings. And this alphabet had been brought by the Turkic nations, same as Finnish, Lapland, Estonians, Hungarians. They migrated to the west and also the Central Europe and the Northern European part. And that is why runic alphabet had been used by Vikings. Ayhan Özcimbit, Unknown History, thank you very much for being with us. Goodbye.